Stop, breathe. You are not broken. You are not abandoned. You are not running out of time. You are standing in the middle of divine rearrangement, even if your world feels like it's falling apart. You ask, why me? But what if the answer is, because you're ready now? Because something greater has already begun shifting under the surface. Speak this now. Though I walk through the valley, I do not pitch my tent there. I am passing through, and peace is my destination. Hopelessness is a liar. It whispers limitation. It sells you stories of lack and delay. But you must become a new storyteller. Speak only what you wish to create, not what you fear might happen. Can't see the way? You don't have to. The higher mind sees all. Say this aloud. What is mine will come to me by divine right, in perfect time, under grace, and nothing can block it. Do you feel tired? That's not a sign of failure, it's a signal to surrender. To give the burden back to the infinite power that knows the route when you don't. Say it with your chest. I cast this heavy burden on the divine within me, and I go free. You think it's over? Oh, no, you're being prepared. Prepared for what you prayed for. Prepared for what you were too scared to even imagine. The delay is not denial, it's design. My steps are ordered, my good is certain, and the miracle is already in motion. Don't be fooled by how it looks. The invisible is more real than the visible. The universe is not ignoring you, it is organizing everything for your rise. What if this pain is the doorway? What if this chaos is the classroom? What if this waiting is actually the answer? So every morning you wake up and say, the tide has turned, the energy has shifted. I don't chase, I attract. I don't beg, I receive. My miracle is already here. Let that be your rhythm. Let that be your morning music. Let your soul say it until the world starts echoing it back. Because you are not hopeless, you are on holy ground. Your words are not just sounds, they are seeds. Living, breathing, energetic seeds. Every sentence you speak goes into the soil of your life, and the universe, it doesn't miss a single one. It hears it all. It watches what you water. It multiplies what you repeat. So ask yourself now, what are you planting with your mouth? Most people speak as if they're reporting the news. I'm broke. I'm tired. I don't know how it will work out. They think they're just expressing their truth, but in reality, they're creating their future. Every time you say, I can't, the universe answers as you wish. Every time you speak fear, life begins to echo it. Why? Because your words are not passive, they are creative laws in action. People don't realize this because they're looking for instant evidence. They want to say, I'm abundant, and find money under the pillow in 5 minutes, but it doesn't work like that. Words are like seeds, they go into the soil, they work in the dark, they rearrange what's hidden first. You don't see what's happening beneath the ground, but it's working, it's shifting, and one day, like magic, something sprouts. But if you keep digging up the seed by saying, I knew it wouldn't work, or this is taking too long, what do you expect it to do? How can the soil grow something you're constantly canceling with your fear? Don't curse your own harvest by speaking against your own prayer. Every time you say something in faith, like I am provided for, even if you don't have proof, you just planted a future blessing. Every time you speak in fear, nothing good ever happens to me, you just planted a future burden. Would you ever plant thorns and expect roses? Then why speak struggle and expect peace? Why declare defeat and pray for victory? You must speak what you want, not what you see. You must speak what you believe, not what you fear. You must train your tongue to match your dream, not your doubt. Your words are like divine contracts. When you say, I always attract the right people, the invisible forces start signing that contract into motion. When you say, I'll never get out of this, they sadly go to work on that instead. Isn't that wild? Your entire atmosphere shifts based on your language. And this is not about lying to yourself, it's about aligning with the truth that already exists in the spiritual realm. Because even when you feel broken, you are still whole. Even when you feel poor, abundance is still your birthright. Even when you feel stuck, movement is still being made in the background. The key is don't speak panic into your process. Don't use your mouth to prophesy the worst. Use it to declare the unseen good, the hidden path, the unexpected solution. Use it like a tool, like a spiritual sword. Because when used correctly, your words cut through fear, they break chains of doubt, they open impossible doors. Say this right now with authority. I only speak what I want to see. I refuse to give voice to fear. I plant power with my words, and I trust the harvest is already on its way. Doesn't that feel better? Doesn't that sound like truth? The world may want you to panic. It may push you to speak stress, but your job is different. Your assignment is divine. You are a creative force, not a victim of conditions. Your mouth is a tool of manifestation, not misery. So be intentional. Be awake. Be watchful. Words are seeds. Your life is the garden. What you say today becomes your scenery tomorrow. Choose your harvest wisely. You think you've lost something forever. You think it's gone for good. That opportunity, that love, that moment that slipped through your fingers. Oh no, not in divine order, not in the spiritual realm, not in the reality where everything works together for your highest good. You must understand this. Nothing that is yours by divine right can ever be taken from you permanently. It may disappear for a moment. It may look like it's lost. It may even feel like the door has slammed shut. But the truth, divine order never fails, and what is truly meant for you can never be missed. But how can you trust that when everything around you says otherwise, when the job is gone, when the love leaves, when the money runs dry, how do you believe there's still a higher plan at work? You do it by refusing to let the visible world define your truth. This world is full of illusions. It shows you delays and calls it failure. It shows you endings and calls it defeat. But divine timing doesn't operate on panic. It doesn't lose track of your blessings. It doesn't forget your name. If something is removed, it's either being refined, redirected, or replaced, but never truly lost. So many people mourn closed doors without realizing they were never locked. They were just leading to better rooms, but grief makes them blind, fear makes them small, and doubt convinces them that the best has already passed. That is the great lie. Say this out loud with power. Nothing that is mine can be taken. If it left, it was not part of the perfect plan. If it stayed, it is sacred. If it returns, it is transformed. There's a divine GPS working behind the scenes. Just because you can't see the route doesn't mean the destination is canceled. Detours are not denials. Delays are not punishments. Losses are not forever. Even what looks like loss is sometimes protection. That relationship you cried over, maybe it was blocking your glow. That job you didn't get, maybe it would have crushed your spirit. That silence you're sitting in right now, maybe it's making space for divine instruction. But we panic so quickly, don't we? We shout, "Why did this happen?" Instead of whispering, "What is this making room for?" What if you could learn to bless the absence? What if you could stop gripping so tightly to what left and open your hands for what's next? The universe has never required your begging, only your belief. It doesn't respond to tears of desperation. It responds to declarations of trust. It doesn't operate in chaos. It functions through divine order, a higher rhythm, a sacred flow that never misplaces a blessing. Even when you feel like you've lost something, a person, a dream, a version of yourself, that energy is never wasted. It circles back, it transforms, it resurfaces in a better form. Sometimes, what leaves your life is the exact space that the miracle needed to enter. Let this be your daily reminder. What belongs to me will always return in perfect form. What I lost, I release. What is mine, I receive. The divine is never late, and I am never forgotten. Let that truth rest in your chest. Let it push out the panic. Let it override the stories your fear wants to tell. Because the spiritual law is this: you live under grace, not lack. You are aligned with abundance, not accident. You are ruled by divine timing, not human mistakes. So stop calling it a loss. Start calling it a realignment. Everything meant for you is on its way, or it's already here, preparing in silence. Do not mourn the gone. Do not curse the wait. Do not beg for what's below your divine destiny. No good thing will ever miss you. No rightful blessing will ever pass you by. No true love, no real opportunity, no sacred purpose will be taken if it was meant to stay. There is no permanent loss in divine order. Only divine rearrangement for something more aligned, more powerful, more you. Fear screams, faith whispers, but whispering doesn't mean weak. In fact, the quietest faith can shatter the loudest fear when it's rooted in truth. Do you know how much power is sitting dormant inside of you just waiting to be activated through faith? But most people don't believe that. They believe fear is stronger because fear feels louder. It gets into your body, your thoughts, your breath. It grabs your heart and says, "What if this all falls apart?" It shouts lies like, "You're not ready. You're not enough. It's too late." And the saddest part, we agree with it. We repeat it. We speak it out loud and say, "I'm scared. I don't think I can do this. What if I fail?" And every time you speak fear, you feed it. Every time you choose fear, you forget who you are. But you don't have to. You can choose differently. You can speak faith instead. You can say, "Even though I feel afraid, I trust something higher is guiding me." You can say, "I don't know the how, but I trust the what is already promised to me." Faith is not about being fearless. Faith is about staring fear in the face and saying, "You're not the final word." Let that settle in your spirit for a moment. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to believe on purpose. You don't need to control the outcome, you just need to align with truth. Faith isn't a feeling, faith is a choice, a decision to believe there's more happening than what you see. It's a holy defiance of circumstances. It's saying, "Yes, the bank account is low, but my supply is divine. Yes, the doors look closed, but my steps are ordered. Yes, I'm tired, but I'm not done." Faith fights for you, it goes ahead of you. It speaks life into dry bones and says, "Rise anyway." Fear says, "What if it doesn't work?" Faith says, "What if this is the moment it finally does?" Fear says, "You're alone." Faith says, "You are backed by the power that created universes." Fear says, "It's too late." Faith says, "The divine is never late, and neither am I." So how do you use faith like a weapon? You speak it. You affirm it. You act as if it's already done. You wake up and say, "Even when I don't see it, the good is unfolding." You go into that interview, that meeting, that hard conversation and say, "I bring light into this space, nothing can block me." You go to bed and whisper, "All things are working for me while I rest." When fear tries to hijack your thoughts, you interrupt it. You interrupt it on purpose. You don't let it narrate your life. You don't let it script your future. Speak to it like it's an enemy you've already defeated. Say, "Fear, you don't get to drive today. My faith is behind the wheel." Say, "I don't need all the answers. I just need to walk in trust, step by step." Your faith doesn't have to be loud to be powerful. It just needs to be real. It just needs to be daily. It just needs to be louder than your excuses. You've tried fear already, hasn't it drained you enough? Hasn't it kept you playing small long enough? Then try faith, really try it. Let it become your default language, your mental shield, your daily medicine. Because when you really walk in faith, your energy shifts, your posture changes, doors respond. People notice, the atmosphere around you bends to the frequency of belief. So speak it again. Faith is my shield. I walk in knowing. I live in trust. I rise in power. Let that be your anthem. Let that be your rhythm. Let your fear hear it and run. Just because you can't see, it doesn't mean it's not happening. Just because you don't hear the confirmation doesn't mean your request wasn't received. And just because nothing looks like it's moving doesn't mean nothing is moving. There are invisible forces at work, right now, shifting pieces, guiding events, aligning situations that your physical eyes cannot yet see. But how often do we forget that? How quickly do we doubt the process just because the progress is hidden? You pray, you affirm, you visualize, you do everything right. And then the voice creeps in, "It's not working." Why? Because your five senses haven't given you proof. But the spiritual law doesn't respond to doubt. It responds to trust. It doesn't reveal the harvest to the anxious. It opens the floodgates to those who believe before they see. Think of it like this. You plant a seed in the soil. You water it daily. You nurture it with care. You don't run outside every morning and scream, "Why haven't you grown yet?" You trust the process because you understand the laws of nature. So why don't you trust the spiritual laws the same way? The truth is the invisible is more powerful than the visible. It's where all things begin. It's where the blueprint is formed before the building appears. It's the realm of ideas, intuition, inspiration, miracles, the womb of all creation. But the ego wants proof, the fear wants control, the doubt wants instant results. And when none of those things show up fast enough, you begin to question your own power. Stop that. Interrupt that cycle. Declare, "Even when I see nothing, I know everything is unfolding for my highest good." Because it is, the timing of your breakthrough, already calculated, the resources you need, already in motion. The people meant to help you, already being moved toward you, but it's happening behind the curtain, behind the scenes, beneath the surface. And what happens when you start panicking? You delay the arrival. You jam the signal. You slow down the delivery by doubting the sender. You must hold the frequency of belief even when reality looks empty. You must walk like it's coming. You must talk like it's yours. You must breathe like the answer has already been sent because it has. Say this now. The invisible forces are working for me, not against me. The delay is divine. The silence is sacred. The unseen is my greatest support. Let that become your knowing. It doesn't matter if the bank account is low, provision is being prepared. It doesn't matter if the phone is quiet, divine connections are being stirred. It doesn't matter if the path looks unclear, clarity is on the horizon, closer than you think. But you must hold the energy long enough for the form to follow. You must let your spiritual eyes guide you when your physical ones feel blind. Faith is not for when everything is obvious. Faith is for the foggy seasons, the quiet days, the waiting spaces where nothing makes sense, but your soul keeps whispering, "Keep going." And oh, how easy it is to forget that this is all part of the plan. The delay, it's building your endurance. The confusion, it's calling forth deeper trust. The silence, it's making space for divine intervention. Why do you think you're being ignored? What if you're being protected? What if your timing is being perfected? What if your energy wasn't quite ready to hold the very thing you're asking for? Trust this. The universe does not lose track of your prayers. The divine does not delay without reason. The invisible realm does not fail, it aligns, it prepares, it delivers in perfection. So instead of saying, "Nothing is happening," say, "Everything is happening and I'm just not meant to see it yet." Say, "I trust the invisible more than I trust the illusion of delay." Let that be your truth. Let that be your daily declaration. Let that be your weapon against anxiety. Because once you believe in the invisible, the visible has no choice but to obey. How long will you carry what you were never meant to hold? How many nights will you lose sleep trying to figure out what the divine has already solved? Why do you keep dragging your burdens into the future like your worry is the fuel that moves the universe? It's not. You don't have to know the whole path. You don't have to solve it all today. You don't have to control every detail to prove you're worthy of receiving. Your only job, let go of the burden. Let the higher self take the lead, but the mind doesn't like that, does it? It panics, it calculates, it obsesses over every possible outcome. What if it all falls apart? What if this time the worst actually happens? What if I miss the moment? That voice, the one filled with dread and control, it's not your higher self. That is fear, pretending to be responsible. That's ego, pretending it knows more than divine intelligence. You've tried carrying the weight. And what did it give you? Anxiety, exhaustion, confusion. There is another way, a way that feels lighter, a way that feels peaceful even when things are uncertain, a way that begins with a sacred decision to surrender. Not surrender in weakness, surrender in wisdom. Surrender to the part of you that is always connected to infinite knowing. Surrender to the presence that sees what your physical eyes can't. Surrender to the divine current that already knows the way. Say it now with full presence. I don't have to carry this anymore. I hand it over to the divine within me. Can you feel that shift? That's the moment the burden begins to dissolve. Because the truth is the higher self already has the map. It knows which doors are false and which ones are golden. It knows the timing, the people, the opportunities, the perfect alignment. It knows what to say no to and what's waiting around the corner. But it can't guide you if you're holding everything so tight. If your hands are full of fear, how will you ever catch the blessing? Release the need to force the outcome. Release the habit of micro-managing the divine. Release the toxic belief that your struggle is noble. There is no prize for carrying pain alone. There is no trophy for being emotionally overwhelmed. You're not meant to fight the current, you're meant to flow with it. So what does letting go look like? It looks like saying, this burden is not mine to carry. I now trust the wisdom within to lead me. It looks like breathing through the storm instead of begging for control. It looks like turning off the panic and tuning into peace. It looks like allowing the invisible part of you to do what it came here to do, guide you home. But how do you trust something you can't see? You do it the same way you trust gravity, the same way you trust air, the same way you trust that the sun will rise even in the middle of the night. The higher self isn't loud, but it's clear. It speaks through intuition, through gentle nudges, through synchronicities that feel too perfect to be random. It won't beg for your attention, but it will never abandon you. Say this now from the soul. I release the how. I surrender the when. I trust the divine part of me knows exactly what to do next. Let that become your prayer. Let that become your pattern. Let that become your peace. The most powerful move you can make is not another plan, not another hustle, not another overthinking session. The most powerful move is surrender. Give the burden back, give the fear back, give the uncertainty back, because your higher self knows, it always has, and it's been waiting patiently for you to trust it again. You say you're waiting for a miracle, but are you preparing for one? You say you believe in the breakthrough, but are you making space for it to arrive? You say you have faith, but are your actions in harmony with that belief? So many cry out for answers, but keep living like nothing will ever change. They speak of divine timing, but set no table for its arrival. They ask for new beginnings, but keep clinging to old stories. You want the light to show up before you choose joy. You want the path to appear before you take a step. You want proof before trust, but that's not how spiritual law works. You don't wait for the miracle and then prepare. You prepare as if it's already on the way. This is alignment. This is true faith. Faith is not passive hoping, it is active preparation. It is sacred readiness. Imagine this. A guest is coming to your home, someone deeply important. You clean, you make space, you light candles, you open the windows. You do all of this before the knock at the door, not after. So why would you treat your miracle any differently? Why are you saying, when I get the job, I'll feel secure? When I meet the person, I'll open my heart. When the money comes, I'll stop stressing. That's backwards. That's fear disguised as logic. That's ego pretending to protect you from disappointment. But guess what? Disappointment doesn't come from believing too much. It comes from refusing to align with what you say you want. Say this now. I am preparing, not pretending. I am aligned, not afraid. I am ready, not waiting. You must act like the thing you prayed for is already at your doorstep. You must speak like the opportunity is already circling your field. You must live in such a way that the universe has no choice but to deliver because you already built the space to receive it. Even in darkness, yes, especially in darkness, because that's where the miracle roots itself, in the soil of uncertainty. That's where the shift begins, in the middle of silence. That's where the blessing is born, in the hidden realm, out of sight, but not out of order. You might not see the light yet, but are you still lighting the candle? You might not hear the door open, but are you standing ready to greet it? Prepare anyway, lay out the plans, speak the affirmations, Clean up your energy, declutter the thoughts that don't belong in the room you're building. When the divine sees preparation, it recognizes faith, and when it sees faith, it responds in perfect timing. You say you believe in abundance, but your actions echo fear. You say you're aligned with love, but you've locked your heart in protection. You say you know what's yours is coming, but every day you doubt your worth. This is not judgment, this is a call to awaken, a call to walk your talk, a call to dress for the destiny you've been claiming. Why wait for the proof to believe? Why wait for the result to rejoice? The miracle does not arrive to convince you, it arrives to meet you in your certainty. Say it out loud with power. I walk as if it's done. I move as if it's mine. I breathe as if the shift is already here. And then let your environment reflect your expectation. Let your thoughts mirror your inner yes. Let your decisions speak louder than doubt ever could. The miracle is not waiting on your worthiness, it's waiting on your readiness. You don't have to beg for it. You don't have to chase it. You don't have to force it. But you do have to prepare for it. Because when you prepare, even in darkness, the light finds you faster.